Okay, I'm gonna redo my review here for the S Max. It's an S Max because it's square. It's not like the Z Max, but the Max means that it has the same internals as the Z Max does. Okay, it has all the features of the Sigelei Z Max, but this is a Sigelei S Max. Okay, this is coated brass. It's a mirror finish. It's nice when it's clean, but it's a fingerprint magnet. It comes with a second cap, which is like a lanyard. Okay, the problem with that is that who wants to have this thing hanging upside down around their neck? Okay, so if you have this cap on there and you go to set it down on a table or your desk or wherever you'd set your PV down, it's gonna fall right over. So this is a completely worthless cap. I don't know why they would have done something like that with such a big PV, and most of the things you're going to put on such a big PV will eventually leak juice out all over your chest. I mean, it's just a bad thing all around. Anyways, the threads are a little catchy. They're not smooth at all. I actually find myself pushing the cap in and depressing the spring a little bit as I am tightening it, because it just seems like it will strip eventually. Okay, so that's another negative. This one also doesn't have the outer ego threads. Okay, it does look like a one-piece cap, which is kind of nice. There is no unscrewing this. It's probably pressed fit or maybe glued in with epoxy or something like that. So it's not gonna be easy for you to get to the electronics, and if you put something in there to spread it apart, you're probably gonna mess up the finish in the least. Brass is also soft, so you're probably going to ruin the shell if you need to get to the electronics on that. Not even, well, actually here I've got something that I can vape this with. I'm not using this. It's sitting on my desk, and the reason for that is that if you don't have something with higher resistance, then you are going to get what they call on the screen a low load. So the electronics, the safe on that is definitely overwhelming. It's just too safe, to be honest with you. Because if you have something that's 1.2 ohms, it will trip the circuit. And then if you wanted to check your ohms with something, this is basically a worthless ohm checker if it's below 1.2 ohms, because of the simple fact that if you set the display to view resistance as the device is firing, then you're just going to see low load. That's all you're going to see. You're never going to know what the resistance is of what you have on there to know where you're at. Okay, so if you use a mechanical mod and you want to use this to check your resistance on something that is anywhere from 1.1 on down to a half of an ohm, then you're not going to get it out of this. Okay, it won't do it. Okay, so that's a negative. What I like about this is that it is square, it is light, so it's comfortable in the hand. It does look good. It's a nice desk ornament, don't get me wrong, but that's all it is for me. If I leave the house, I leave the house with something like this, or I leave the house with something like this, or I leave the house with something like that CE4. And whenever I do leave the house with something like this CE4, or the other two things I just showed you, I'm leaving the house with the iTaste, or I'm leaving the house with the Ego 650 mod. Okay, there is no need leaving the house with something this huge. I mean, it is huge. Okay, I mean it's way too big. So one feature I just now remembered that I didn't mention: double 18 350s or single 18 650 run on this just fine. doesn't have any misfires, no problems with the electronics. If you know the Sigelei Z-Max, you know the Sigelei S-Max as far as the electronics go and how it acts. You know, take it as you will. It works good for a lot of people, but there's also going to be a lot of people that this is not going to work good for. You know, if I wrap my Genesis atomizer or any other RBA for that matter at 1.3 ohms, and that means I can only push 15 watts of power to that coil, and if I wrap it at 0.6 ohms, I believe, with the M&KE battery that is safe to vape at 30 watts, then I'm shooting for right about 26 watts. I'll never get that kind of power out of this, so that means that I either need to have atomizers for a mechanical only and not for this, or I have to have something for just this and not be as satisfied with it because it's only 15 watts. Okay, so that's where I'm at on this. I mean, it's a luxury desk ornament that doesn't get much play. Okay, so keep all that in mind if you're vaping something like the VV Nova. If that is your cigar vape at home, pretty cool. I mean, this would be nice. If you're vaping a Cardo tank, then this can be your at-home cigar vape. I mean, but for me, the at-home cigar vape are things that people in a grocery store would call the fire department for. I mean, and you just don't get that out of the Smoke Tech dual coil Cardo or the VV Nova. Okay, it's just a average vape. Okay, it does look nice. Yeah, my tank's a little short. This is a did tank, but that's it. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where I can vape this like. Let me just do a comparison real quick. Or I can do this. Okay, or if I'm being unfair, here's that same 650 mAh fixed voltage Ego. I mean, this just seems more satisfying than this. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So that's my review on the S-Max. For me, my vaping style, it gets thumbs down. It's just not doing it for me. Okay, so if you want something that you're gonna have to buy, that you're not gonna be happy with after a while, maybe you're that person that can stick with something and stay with it and you're completely content. But if you are a vapor whore, excuse my French if some people take offense, if you're a vapor whore, then this definitely ain't gonna cut it for you. I mean, it's only gonna be good for so long, and then you're gonna hit that. If you're wanting more and more, you're eventually gonna hit that 15 watt limit, and you're gonna want more. So it's one of those things, and you know yourself better than I do, so you would know if you would like this or not. But it's important for people like me to point those things out so that people can understand what fits them better, what they're gonna want, what they're gonna be happy with. Okay, so here is the S-Max. Thank you for watching.